Dr. Amira Hassan stared at the anomalous signal patterns dancing across her monitor. For 3 weeks, the same mathematical sequence had been arriving from somewhere beyond Neptune's orbit. As the lead astrophysicist at the Global Deep Space Communication Array in Chile, she had seen her fair share of cosmic phenomena, but nothing like this perfect prime number sequences followed by complex geometric ratios that couldn't possibly be natural. "It has to be artificial," she muttered, pushing her thick-rimmed glasses up her nose. But no one's listening. The international scientific community had dismissed her findings as instrument error or wishful thinking. The politicians were too preoccupied with the ongoing water wars that had destabilized half the planet. Even her own team had begun avoiding her, whispering about stress-induced delusions. Only Kai, her graduate assistant, still believed. "The patterns changed again last night," he said, sliding a tablet across her cluttered desk. "They're accelerating, repeating faster with each cycle." Amira studied the data, her heart racing. "They're getting closer." Captain Wei Zhang of the Chinese Orbital Defense Platform, Heavenly Shield, adjusted his tactical display. Something was interfering with their satellite network. Strange energy fluctuations had been appearing at the edge of their detection range for days. "Another glitch?" asked his executive officer. "Perhaps." Zhang frowned. "But the Americans are reporting the same disturbances. And the Russians." Zhang had forwarded the anomalies to Beijing 3 times. Each time, he received the same response: a classified hydroelectric conflict in Southeast Asia took priority. No resources could be spared for space weather investigations. He turned to his communications officer. "Any word from command about that crazy Chilean scientist's report?" "Dr. Hassan? They're saying she's overreacting to routine stellar noise." Zhang nodded slowly, but couldn't shake the feeling of unease. 20 years in space defense had taught him to trust his instincts. He secretly ordered his crew to maintain heightened alert status. In a modest apartment in Rio de Janeiro, Teresa Oliveira scrolled through the conspiracy forums she moderated. As an amateur astronomer and former software engineer, she had been one of the first civilians to notice the anomalies in publicly available deep space monitoring data. Her post titled ALIENCONT, a CT, IMM, ET, had gone viral briefly before being buried under celebrity scandals and water crisis news. Only a dedicated few still followed her updates. The latest citizen observations confirmed what she already suspected: something massive was approaching Earth, cloaked somehow from major detection systems. Or perhaps not cloaked at all, just ignored by those who should be paying attention. She typed frantically: AULTIPLACONFIRMADISIGNARLUNARBIT WHYSENOONETALKEUTA Minutes later, her internet connection failed. General Oscar M. Bakey of the African Union Space Command received the emergency transmission from the lunar mining colony with skepticism. Hallucinations from oxygen deprivation were not uncommon among miners. "They're claiming to see ships?" he asked his aide. "Yes, sir. Hundreds of them, apparently materializing from some sort of spatial distortion. The colony's external cameras are malfunctioning, but we have their verbal descriptions." Becky sighed. "Forward it to the UN Space Council, but mark it low priority. We have enough real problems without chasing ghosts." Dr. Hassan burst into the observatory's main control room. "They're here. Look at this." She connected her tablet to the main display. The room fell silent as everyone stared at the image: a massive fleet of sleek, crystalline vessels arranged in perfect geometric formation just beyond Mars' orbit. "The signal," she explained breathlessly. "It wasn't a communication. It was a warning. They were trying to tell us they were coming peacefully. How can you possibly know that? The facility director challenged. The mathematical sequence, it's a universal declaration of non-aggression. I decoded it last night. They've been waiting for our response, some acknowledgement that we understand. And we gave them nothing, Kai whispered. Captain Zhang's alarm blared as his sensors suddenly overloaded with data. The void of space before him shimmered as hundreds of vessels seemed to materialize from nowhere. Contact Beijing immediately, he ordered, and patch me through to any command center that will answer. But global communications were already failing as the electromagnetic signature of the alien fleet disrupted Earth's satellite network. Zhang stared in awe at the elegant formation of ships. They weren't positioning for attack. They were arranging themselves in the exact pattern from Dr. Hassan's ignored signals, a complex, three-dimensional greeting. They're trying to talk to us, he realized. Before he could act, a missile launched from the Russian platform Sovereignty. The panicked, unauthorized attack streaked toward the alien formation. Zhang watched in horror as the missile disappeared into what appeared to be a shield surrounding the lead vessel. For 3 heartbeats, nothing happened. Then, a pulse of blinding light. Teresa's internet connection suddenly returned. Her social feeds exploded with reports of an unprecedented aurora visible worldwide. She stepped onto a balcony and gasped at the curtains of blue-green light dancing across the equatorial sky, impossible at this latitude. Her phone rang. An unknown number. Hello? This is Dr. Amira Hassan. You've been monitoring the signals too. We need to talk. General Mbeki stood frozen before the tactical display as the African Union Space Command headquarters descended into chaos. The entire alien fleet, hundreds of vessels, had vanished instantly following the Russian attack. Along with them, every human military installation in orbit had simply ceased to exist. No explosions, no debris, just gone. Sir, his aide's voice cracked. We're receiving a new signal.